be lazy. Don't find out the hard way though. 20 clicks of an adjustment, but factory always recommend 11 clicks to begin with. Yeah, a friend of mine, he likes to eyeball a lot.
No, I have, hey, since you have told me, how much better have I gotten about taking my time?
So I'm semi-tightening that bracket, and then I'm testing, make sure that when the steering stops, I'm not bottoming out the steering damper.
See, that made it just that much different.
Hey, we got it all done, Mike.
Again, you're using the word we very freely.
We are a team.
I've been holding the camera a lot.
What's good? Mike's in the building. Welcome to another video, guys. Super excited about this one. Huge shout out to my boy Jojo. The video that I have of the walk around of the brand new Aprilia RS660, it's thankful to him that the bike look and sound this amazing. He's been doing a lot of work with me on installing parts and basically giving me best advice. He does own a V4R, Aprilia RS660, and a slew of other amazing motorcycles. And he's been taking his time to help me build the bike out to something that's track worthy. So hit that thumbs up, enjoy the video, enjoy the banter. All right, for once I get to enjoy myself being behind the camera. So he's gonna be doing all the work. Make sure you guys give him a follow on Instagram. He's not a big social media guy, but just wanted to say thank you to him for taking the time on working on this project with me. Always amazing to be in the garage with him. So check it out.
Just never assume anything. Always go the extra mile and find out. If you feel like there's a bolt, or if you think there's a bolt or something is still attached, don't assume that you removed everything. Just don't be lazy. Find out. Don't find out the hard way though. Alright. And voila. I think I left that on there. It's not attached to anything right now. It's just being held together by these hoses. I don't think I have to take it off. We'll see as we play along. It's all good. So we're gonna loosen that, loosen this, move so we can slide this forward. At least try to move, loosen that. It's all good.
Don't you know etiquette? I'm like, he didn't let me.
Yeah, just right here, man. It wasn't my spot. It was a flush in. He spoke the language. I didn't. Don't blame me. I'll leave this on there. Let's see. Once I undo that, let's see how far this thing goes forward. And we'll take it from there. Hey, look at that. We got some room now. All right. Hey, look at that. We don't need that no more. That's the bracket that took me that extra 30 minutes.
When you first did this, how long it took you? Well, it was easier because you had the entire bike taken apart.
Yeah, Because I was doing under the intention of me building it into a track bike.
So you weren't putting stuff back on, so it was just like stripped down and then work.
Yeah, so it was much easier. It was, I mean, you can see, I have so much less stuff.
I can tell. I just looked at it now and I'm like, holy shit. Your radiator and your actual oil filter is there. That's it. After that, it's all engine and then the wheels.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. How much does this bike weigh overall?
I didn't have a chance to weigh it.
What? You don't weigh it like YouTube? I hate when people do that. It's like, it's a bike. It's already light. You know what I mean? Unless you take out the engine. I mean, granted, when you take out the exhaust, it's about 10 pounds roughly.
Yeah.
After that, everything else you pull. I mean, unless you do like wheels.
Yeah.
After that, everything else is pretty much like, you know, a pound or less kind of thing. It's not enough to warrant
it's not crazy.
Giant box for that steering damper. I can drop that down there too.
Get this plate off, and then I'll be able to change the steering stops.
Okay.
Because we gotta change the steering stop because it has everything to do with it. So we gotta take the rear deflector off to get to the nut in the bottom for the steering stop.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If you're doing like an M6 or M8 bolt, they're all going to be the same torque specs?
It varies.
There's a general rule of thumb. It does vary a little bit, but there is actually, if you read certain service manuals, like within the first 10 pages of it, where they talk about torque specs, it will actually have that tab table. So it'll say for this size this, for this size this.
Yeah.
And as you go to each individual section, it'll give you the exact.
There you go.
So let's say if you don't have it, but it'll drop you close enough.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming based on the specific section, it would be how much wear and tear that's happening in the vehicle, right? That's why? Or let's say there's a lot of...
It could be, but like, so for example, like on the road, for the R6, the torque specs for the front is I think 70 millimeters, something around there, and the rear is like 90. But race teams for race bikes, they'll put the front to like 60. They'll do like 20 or 30 less because they're changing it all the time, and for whatever reason, quote unquote, I've heard many professional mechanics say this, the road torque is to the point where they know it's not going to come off because it's addressed less, whereas on a race bike, they take the axon off more frequently.
Okay.
So they know it's the torque is being checked because every time they redo it, it gets torqued.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, for a street bike, you know, it could be on, and you might never touch it for like 2 years, unless you need tires, right? For example, like rear axle nut. Versus on a race bike, it's it's being taken off. Your tires and wheels are being taken off every other section, so they know. So it's more like a peace of mind thing and a habit, and then. But yes, to answer your question, it depends on what bike. A lot of it will put it as a group. M6 is this much torque, M8 is that much torque, and then as you go further down the service manual, they do separate it between each individual bolt.
I'm assuming it's based on the amount of stress.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're removing the stock steering stop right now. Steering stop is what dictates how much your steering ankle is. The smaller it is, the more steering angle you have, the larger it is, the less it turns. Stock. So if you don't know what a steering stop is, it's basically what stops the steering ankle, like I said. So if every bike has it, right? So some bikes has a steering stop built into the low triple tree. It could be different location by design. Every bike has it. So as you can see, when this touches that, the steering stops, right? At a certain angle. So we're changing that right now because we're installing a steering damper, and the steering damper has a travel, and you want to limit that travel to where it is. So we're replacing it with a larger steering stop than this one. Okay. Because if you go full extent on the steering damper, right, and you try to turn it one way or the other, your steering damper is going to run out of travel before the stop hits the frame. You see what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you don't want to over travel your steering damper all the time. So we're changing this so that the turning radius could stop within the range of your steering damper. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So this has a travel, and this is a 68 millimeter. So remember when Jacob was saying he has a 60, and I said you must get a 68? It's because you need that much travel. So if I installed this in there without replacing your steering stop, essentially this is gonna run to the walls, and that's not even gonna touch yet. Okay. You see what I mean? So we are changing the steering stop to manipulate where this ends. You don't want this to bottom out. Okay. You see what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. And then also that has something to do with which body work you have. You have street body work, and because of that, we must change that. The strokes of the steering stop, the steering damper matters, because your street body work are designed to work with this steering stop, right? So by replacing a larger one, or if I don't replace that, or if I use too short of a stroke of a steering damper, then by the time this runs out, you have a chance of your bodywork, your handlebar hitting your bodywork. On a race bodywork like mine, where it's designed to have more clearance, it's further down low and open here, okay. So it's not touching anything. So, and that's why we do this. We're replacing that right now. Now for race bikes, 60 millimeter will work. For a street bike, you need the 68, and the other factor is turning radius. On the track, we turn by leaning the bike. Yeah. You're not really turning with the steering angle. So if I go 60 steering damper, then I need a larger steering stop than what I'm about to put on right now. And that's gonna work on the track, but that's not gonna work on the street, because you're gonna lose so much turning radius that you're not gonna be able to turn coming to a red light or a stop sign, and you're turning with the bars. Yeah. You're not gonna be able to make it. You see what I mean? Yeah. So, and that's why.
Ooh, the sun's finally coming out.
Yeah. As you can see, there's an increase in diameter compared to that one.
That's stuff they want, but then as soon as you try to please the people, they can tell it's just like not as good.
I mean, hence why you see a lot of people that does like
clickbait.
You know,
punching somebody's mirror. Because listen, if you're driving, you know, you're riding like 80 miles, 60 miles an hour. I mean, we all drive cars here and we ride bikes, right?
Yeah.
Anybody that's pushing like 60 on a bike, it's very hard for you to see it. If you're a driver, you know that too. So, you know, and if you're going past the speeding limit, right? You're gonna have to accept that there's option that something bad might happen too. So, well, in most cases, people get upset at the drivers. I'm like, well, I guess this person don't drive, right? I always tell my wife, like, when we're driving, if you hear a bike, not knowing the speed, just stay the course.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
It's the same on the track. When someone comes up behind you to pass you, just stay in a straight line. Be
Just don't move. They'll
don't move.
Yeah,
They'll go
don't
around
move.
you. Yeah.
They'll go around you. So.
If anyway, like I'll see someone coming up behind me, I can tell where they're gonna go, and I'll be like, all right, there's a little extra space. Like,
Well, drivers panic when they hear it because the sound,
yeah.
you know, so it's like, do I go left? Do I go right? And that creates, I'm like, just stay still. They're just gonna maneuver right around. It's just the nature of the game. I mean, I like to create stuff like this, stuff that's educational, that shows information. Well, I like information myself. So
Yeah, you seem an inquisitive person.
So that's more my thing, really. I don't really have any stuff that's like, I don't know, distasteful. At least I try not to. Because I think, you know, if you watch that and you meet me like, oh my God, this guy's an asshole. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, if I'm not that way in real life, I try not to be that way for a video, for purpose of a video. So. And we were talking about this too with a friend of mine recently, like Max Riss. I don't know if you guys seen his videos.
Max Riss?
Yeah.
Well, I've seen his video. Like I thought he was reckless.
He's definitely reckless. He used to be a really, really fast rider. Very, very good. When he was in the service, when he was in Italy. So the videos you saw, original videos of him, he was in Italy. Yeah, he was riding so reckless that they had to reach out to the base. That's why he couldn't ride anymore over there. And they're like, you gotta go.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think he's trying to relive those same days. That's why you see him wrecking all the time in the streets, which is crazy. Like, how many times does it have to happen until you're like, maybe I'm rolling this dice way too much or for way too long kind of thing. But everyone's different. But then again, you get addicted to getting money for it. I like bikes, but I kind of like my life a lot more, you know? And also, I don't think my family would be very happy. My family is not, they like bikes. They don't like the fact that I do them. So I try at least, like when I see my mom and stuff like that, she's like, oh, you didn't sell your bike yet? That's usually her reaction.
Be like, no, Mom, I just bought another one.
No.
I'll be here in March.
So I try not to egg them on into anything. Cause like if my older brother be like, oh man, that's really cool, man. And then when I'm leaving his business, he's like, you know, he doesn't say it, but I could tell that he's scared a little bit. He goes, be careful, man.
Yeah.
Let me know when you get home. You know, he doesn't want to. So I'm like, look at my videos, just see what I do. And they sometimes they get like pretty good idea. But I kind of like doing the background stuff a lot, like shooting and editing and stuff. Like, oh, this stuff is just as interesting to me as what David's doing.
Yeah.
After I got traumatized from working on the Street Fighter, I just became the camera guy. Jojo's still working on his paint.
You said you got traumatized on the Street Fighter?
I was doing that SC project exhaust.
Oh, yeah.
One trying to get between the rear header. Oh my god, man! I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Yep.
By the way, I was one of the first to do that video, and Ducati was playing that in their how do you call it, the place where they do the work on the bikes, to pick off my video because they didn't have any instructions for it yet.
Really?
Yeah, because it was so new, and I'm like, wow, how stupid was I to actually try to do this in the? I mean, I didn't think about it that way. I was just more excited to be